my name is Beck and I am coming to you sitting on my bedroom floor because I have about almost 40 books. I think I've got 39 books to unhaul today. So let's just jump right into the stack. First is 22 Murders of Madison May. I talked about this in a recent wrap-up video and I just didn't really like it. I gave it 2 stars, 2.5 stars, and I don't see any need to keep it. This does come out early July, so it's probably out by now, so you can go and try it if you want to. Paranormal thriller set across different parallel universes. Sounded cool, not my jam, getting rid of it. These next two I got from a friend a while ago, at the beginning of the year, not a while ago, but it feels like a long time ago. And I thought, you know, I'm gonna hold on to these and try these authors eventually, but it's just not really eventuating that way. And I keep looking at them and then ignoring them. And that is this Trudy Canavan book and also Terrier by Tamora Pierce. I don't see myself reading these anytime soon, and if I do pick them up it'll be by audiobook or it will be by the current series that I want to read, so I'm going to go out and buy the first book in that series instead. I don't want to have extras lying around, so that's why I'm getting rid of these two as well. And now the next couple make me sad because they're all comics and graphic novels, and when I go and buy these things I don't want them to obviously be unhauled like a lot of books that I haul to. Naturally you want to enjoy them, but for comic books and graphic novels they're more expensive, so to unhaul them just hurts more. So I've got East of West here, and I don't even remember really what this is about. I think it was some kind of dystopian western and I thought it would be really cool. The premise sounded awesome, but when I read it I gave it a 3 stars. It felt very busy to me and I just didn't want to continue, and I haven't bothered to reread it since because honestly I just trust my opinion and my experience reading it the first time that I'm not really going to love it. So that's why I'm getting rid of this one as well. Additionally, I've also got Noughts and Crosses and I've got Mouse as well. I like graphic novels, but these seem like a genre that I wouldn't generally pick up in an audiobook or a novel form anyway, so I don't think I'm going to like them as graphic novels. It's going to be work to read them, and I have owned them for years and I haven't started them, so that's why I'm getting rid of these two as well. And now I've got more comics. So I've got a bunch of Marvel comics that I got for various reasons. I think this one was on sale and it's number 4 and I haven't got the others, and then this one is a Deadpool comic that I bought when I was in a comic book store in Japan, and it's volume 1, which is nice because I randomly just buy comics if they're not the right volume when I see them cheap, which is exactly what I did with this one. And I don't see any reason to hold on to them because the older comic book style of the Marvel superheroes I'm not really into. It doesn't really do it for me. I like more picturesque rather than blocky cartoon drawings. It's really hard to describe the style, but I just don't like it that much. I will put up with it if it's a really amazing story, but it's few and far between for me, so that's why these are going as well. I just wish that I could connect with them, but unfortunately I can't. And then that also applies to this one too. I've actually read this. I think I read it during an Owls readathon way back when, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, and so that's why it's going too. I really love Wolverine, which is why I got this volume, but it's not really held up to my expectations, and I think I gave it 3 like I said, so also that's going. And now I have 2 more graphic novels, and these are Fable, and I found out about these because I've played The Wolf Among Us, the video game that's like a story-based Telltale video game, and I adored it. It's about how all these people and characters from fairy tales had to reassimilate and live in New York City because their city got moved or something, or they got revoked from living there. Either way, they're migrants, they live now in New York City, and it's got a whole undercurrent of magic and mayhem, and the main character is the wolf that blows all the houses down. He's Bigby Wolf and he is investigating a murder, and I really love the premise of the video game, and I thought, well, if they're based on comics, maybe I should go and try those. And so I did, and I didn't like them very much, so now I'm getting rid of them. I'm finally getting rid of them because I've held on to them for so long, because I've just ignored the fact that I have them on my shelf because they're expensive and I didn't want to get rid of them, but I need to. I just need to make the space, so they're having to go. Now we're doing a bit of a pivot into young adult, and so I'm getting rid of this contemporary book. It's The Dangerous Art of Blending In. This is a queer young adult book. It follows a guy who doesn't really know where he fits in, and I think he cops a bit of abuse from his family, and he meets this guy and basically gets a crush, falls head over heels. I got the advanced reading copy because I was working for a publisher at the time, and I thought, oh, this is lovely, I'm going to keep both of these, but I really don't see the need to because they're not something that I'm avidly a fan of. Like, I enjoyed it when I read it. I think I gave it a 4. I don't really feel like I'm ever going to go back and reread it. Not that rereading justifies me keeping most of my books. just some of them. So I don't really feel like I need to keep this, and I think someone else would really enjoy it. And now I have 2 copies that I can get rid of and clear up space on my shelves, so it is a win-win. I'm also getting rid of a fantasy trilogy, a young adult fantasy trilogy that I loved. And I feel bad doing so because I really liked the first 2 books, but the third one just went the romance love triangle angle instead of the world is ending and you need to save it angle. It did that too, but it felt very secondary and it was really outdone by the love interest stuff. So I didn't love the ending of the series. I liked the first 2 books for what they were. It is Frostblood and then Fireblood and Nightblood, the trilogy, and if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think you'll like these because the romance has the same vibes as Katara and Zuko getting together. And so I like how it had a character who kind of had their wits about them and was very solemn and quiet, and it also had this bright and fiery character that was keen to learn and avid and set in her ways almost until she was shown differently and then she'd try and change herself. I like that characters had to work for stuff in here, but I also don't see the need to keep them. I finished the series. I gave the last book a 3. It probably should have been a 2 or 2.5. The other 2 were 4 stars from me, so I think it's just done its dash and I'm ready to get rid of it now. Next up I've got another young adult, and I'm sorry if you can hear the dogs barking in the background, but I need to keep going because I don't have a lot of time to film this. I have the Brooding YA Hero, and this is a very tongue-in-cheek story. Please stop barking. And it's about the guy who's the young adult hero in every book or every starter pack YA story, and it's got this guy who's got these amazing coloured eyes with like gold flecks in them, and he really just talks about every trope and every character archetype that you generally encounter as the formula for young adult. And it was told very hilariously and I quite enjoyed it at the time. I gave it 4, I think, but I feel again no emotional connection to it. It was just something that was fun at the time, so that is why I'm getting rid of it. Similarly with some more young adult, I've got this Mortal Coil and Valentine. Initially I was umming and ahhing about getting rid of these because by all means they're not bad books whatsoever, but they're just young adult that I've grown out of, and I enjoyed them at the time but I'm ready to move on. And they're also both personalized to me, so I thought, oh, I feel bad getting rid of them, but at the same time someone else, hopefully someone named Beck, picks them up so it can be personalized to them instead. So I'm just getting rid of these. I've had them for a while, they've sat there, I've avoided putting them on other unhaul videos, but I felt that now was the time. And now to get rid of some manga, regrettably, is Full Metal Alchemist. These are 2 editions that I've got duplicates of, so that's why I'm getting rid of them. Please nobody panic, this is an amazing series, get on it if you haven't yet. Additionally, I'm getting rid of another manga, and that is Twinkle Stars, and I've got volumes 1, 2 and 4 I think, which is a bit silly of me, but I couldn't find the 3rd obviously. This is by the same author that wrote Fruits Basket, and I adored the illustration style, but I just didn't connect to this story. I think Fruits Basket was like a one-trick pony. I love that so much, and it's so deeply connected to my love of anime and manga because I discovered it when I was like 14, 15, 16 when I was first getting into that kind of thing, and so it's really just become the be-all and end-all in terms of what I found in manga at the time, and nothing can be better than it. Even though I've reread it and discovered all these problems with it, I still have that nostalgia attached to it, so I can't really get rid of Fruits Basket ever, but this series I can. So I'm not really vibing it. I want to get rid of it. Someone else is going to enjoy it inevitably. And now I have 2 more from young adult, so Inside Out and Outside In I think they're called, by Maria V. Snyder. She wrote the Poison Study books. I think it follows this girl who is stuck and realizes that there is a way out of the way that everybody has been living inside this encampment so far. Vaguely, I think there's a way out through pipes, hence the covers. So I did like it at the time, but again, I don't feel any need to reread it. And the reason that I've held on to it for so long is because it has been personalized to me. And so I've had a few that I've gone to for events and stuff, and so I feel really bad getting rid of them. But at the same time, I'm not gonna ever reread them, and so why hold on to them and take up a ton of space that I don't have, dedicating it to books that I read ages ago, because my taste has changed drastically, so I'm trying to get my shelves to reflect that. Oh my god, this dog is driving me absolutely bananas. And then in a similar vein, I'm getting rid of the Uglies duology because I wrote my thesis in uni on the 2nd book in the series, and now whenever I read it, I've just really associated it with study and analysing and writing, and I don't want to keep it on my shelves. So that is why these are going as well. I do have the next book by Scott Westerfeld, and it's the Imposters book. This is an advanced copy because I got sent before it was released so I could review it, and it was a romp. It was just a very action-driven sci-fi book, but honestly, maybe I should get rid of this one as well because they don't spark joy, really. I don't want to read them anymore. I've outgrown this phase of dystopian young adult, and I'm looking for it in more of a detailed way and less of a structured, this is how everything rolls formula kind of way in adult work instead of in young adult work. So again, unhauling these, happy that I'm doing it, clear that space, I've got to clear the space. And actually I think my spontaneous adding of getting rid of this as well makes it 40 books in this unhaul, so I can now call this video 40 book unhaul instead of having just 39 and then my title would be a lie. Anyway, it's not like you would have noticed, but I would have known, and so now I know that I'm telling the truth. I'm also getting rid of Invictus by Ryan Graudin. This is a science fiction in a young adult vein of what Firefly was, so it kind of tries to take those vibes and put it into here. I like the crew vibe. It's interesting and fun, but again, someone else is going to find it and love it. I haven't really done my dash on this, and I'm very happy to get rid of it now. I didn't dislike it, but again, I'm making space. I know a while ago I said that I was DNFing, so did not finish. I'm not continuing the Attack on Titan manga, and I'm going to stand by that. Initially, I was like, no, I'm going to keep some of it as like a memento of my nostalgia and my memories of it, but honestly I just don't see myself having any benefit holding on to this, and it's the box set of the first 4 volumes, so I'm going to unhaul this. Maybe I'll sell it because it's manga and it's expensive, who knows, but I'm getting rid of it now, and I've cleared off all of my shelves and then reorganized them so behind me might look a little bit different than usual. So I'm very happy now that I have cleared the space because this takes up a chunk of room on my shelves that I can use to display other stuff that I actually enjoy and series that I've read more recently. So that is what I've done, and that is what I'm getting rid of. It was a series that's cool and dystopian and dark and edgy, but it's ultimately a series that just got too diluted for me when there were specific things about it that I wanted to explore, and then it didn't do that. So it's a whole time of me deciding to DNF it. It takes me a long time to decide to DNF series, and unfortunately this has just made the list, and so it's going. And also, speaking of DNFing series, a long time ago I DNF'd Anthony Ryan's stuff, so this is Blood Song by him. I don't know why, honestly, I was holding on to this. I think actually no, it's because I gave this a 4 stars, and because it's from Valen's perspective only, it's from one character's perspective. I loved this, but then the author delved into multiple perspectives, and because he did that I couldn't connect to the other perspectives because they all sounded the same, and they sounded the same as Valen, and I thought, if you're going to write characters that are multifaceted across a series, their voices kind of need to vary for me to actually understand that you're switching and that they're individual characters, not just kind of blank slates. So I didn't like the rest of the books, and I have decided to DNF the series and DNF Anthony Ryan's stuff in general. I tried reading this and also Waking Fire, and neither of them were really my jam, so getting rid of Blood Song finally. I feel like it's been a long time coming. It has just been sitting there staring at me, so it's time for it to go. I think I've discussed these next 2 before. I can't remember if I've had them in an unhaul video or not, but I've kept books aside and then I've put some books back on my bookshelf and just hidden them behind because I didn't have space to put them in a pile. So this might be one of those, but anyway, it's S by J.J. Abrams. It's designed to look like a library book. It is the Ship of Theseus. I'm getting rid of this one as well, and I have no regrets because I honestly don't see myself reading this at all. And additionally, I have to get rid of Pink by Lily Wilkinson, and I read this at the end of 2020 and I gave it a 3. I found a few things in here just didn't gel very well, and so I don't really feel the need to hold on to it again, like a lot of the YA that is put on this list. So S and Pink, both things that I had on my TBR last year. S I've held on to for no particular reason because I thought I would eventually get to it. Turns out I don't have any interest in doing so. And Pink because I finished it and then just shelved it and didn't think about it again, so now I need to get rid of it. Additionally, I'm getting rid of Lifelike by J. Kristoff. J. Kristoff is an author who I have loved, but recently his new releases have just not been doing it for me like they used to. I loved his Illumine Gemini and Obsidio series, and I really loved Nevernight and God's Grave. I didn't like Dark Dawn. This series was pretty much a letdown for me. The last book, True Life, I think I gave a 2 stars. I have a spoiler review on my Goodreads for True Life if you want to go and read that. If I remember, I'll link it for you. But I just don't see myself ever rereading this or ever revisiting it whatsoever. Even with his Nevernight series, I don't even want to reread all of them. I just want to reread maybe God's Grave and that's it. So yeah, I don't want to keep this at all, and I've held onto it because, again, J. Kristoff is a local Australian author and it's personalised. So that is why I have kept it for so long, but it's honestly, it is just time for it to go. And now we are finally down to the last two on this list. The second last book is Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I read these on audiobook, I finished the trilogy that way, I really enjoyed them in that format because obviously it's multiple characters, it's multiple voice actors, so it sounded really cool and like an awesome experience for my ears when I was first getting into audiobooks, and now I feel no real need to hold on to the physical copy. I've had it sitting around for a while and honestly I don't feel the need to get the other books in the series to commemorate my reading experience. I think the audiobooks were enough for me, and so that's why I'm getting rid of it. Also, I didn't really like his newest release, so that's partly influenced me to get rid of this as well. I think this was given to me because a friend was getting rid of it anyway, so it's not like I've bought it and then gone, oh actually I don't want to buy the rest of the series. Financially it's not too bad to get rid of this one, so I'm glad that I didn't go out and randomly buy it. And then lastly on this list, the last book that I'm unhauling, at least today, there's probably going to be more in the future because I always unhaul stuff, is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a book that got sent to me by the publisher, so I'm very grateful to Scholastic for sending this to me because I reviewed it for them and I have a review on my channel from a little while ago. I don't know if it's a very good review because I did it so long ago. So I really enjoyed The Raven Cycle, and that's a quartet of books that precede this. And then I read this when it recently came out a year or two ago maybe, and it was good. I liked all the characters and I liked what had been set up in The Raven Boys was built on in here with different characters in a different kind of scenario, but I honestly feel no connection to having it physically because I listened to the audiobook and I liked the audiobook. If I continue, because I know there's another book out I think this year actually for this series, I'll go the audiobook anyway, so I don't see any reason to hold on to the paperback, so that's why I'm getting rid of this one as well. And so that concludes my massive unhaul. Let me know if there are any series you've DNF'd or any books that you've unhauled lately. I would always be curious to know. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.